What's going on, everyone? So yesterday, the Lakers got a huge win, right? Beating the Los Angeles Clippers and ending that streak of 11 straight games. Now, this isn't the be-all, end-all. This doesn't mean like, no, the Lakers are a perfect team now, and that's it. The Lakers still have a lot of work and a long road ahead of them, right? I don't like this lack of energy to start games. I don't like this falling behind 20 every game and then trying to play catch up. And then, yes, you win the game, but it's like you're not going to win as many games as you're going to lose if that becomes a trend, if that becomes a pattern. But we are seeing some good things. This was a real team effort, for one. I mean, across the board, everybody that played contributed to an extent. Everybody that played really made a huge impact in one way or another. And we're going to dive into some of that here in a minute. But it was great to see the Lakers pull out this win, because this is a game that, in all honesty, last year the Lakers would have lost, right? To be down 20, you get the fake comeback. Maybe the Lakers even take the lead, and then ultimately they lose the game. Paul George hits some clutch shots down the stretch, forces overtime, and then the Lakers get smacked in overtime. But this was a game where when they got in overtime, I wasn't happy about that, right? You can't be losing late game leads like that, especially when you're up 9 points late in the game. But a lot of that was just terrible calls by the refs, and then Paul George just hitting some absolute heroic shots. I mean, this guy hit shots that, you couldn't replicate again in a game, which you got to give Paul George a lot of credit on. But that was a game that in the past, again, the Lakers would have lost. But the fact that the Lakers were able to pull that out, I think is very telling for this year and this roster and this team, especially with us missing a good chunk of our players. I mean, we were missing 3 of our top 4 defensive guys, right? Cam Reddish was absolutely incredible defensively. Incredible. I'd like to see the offense pick up a little bit, but defensively, that dude was A1, and he has been all season. LeBron James, year 21, age 39, still the best player on the court, in a game in which you had Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and Russell Westbrook. And LeBron James, 35 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists, 13 of 19 from the field, 4 of 8 from 3, 2 blocks, 1 steal, only 4 turnovers. I mean, the guy was A1. I mean, the dude absolutely dominated, and I mean dominated this game. And was a man on a mission of no, we're not losing this game. We are going to win this game. This was absolutely incredible. I love seeing this, the second half performance of the Lakers. That first half was absolutely rough. But you saw the Lakers right the ship. To outscore them 69-56 is huge. And then to go into that overtime and close out that win, right? Which kind of makes the Kings loss hurt a little more. But hey, nonetheless, I will take this win. I think that this was a huge win that really steers the ship in a positive direction, builds some confidence, changes that narrative a lot, right? Because if the Lakers would have lost, the media narrative, the fan narrative, everything would have been full on oh, Lakers, they're not good, they're this, they're that, they can't beat the Clippers, blah, 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 right? And guess what? The Lakers ended up pulling that out and winning. And, people will try to find excuses. There are no excuses. The Clippers were missing guys, so were the Lakers, right? The Lakers were missing more significant guys. Right? They had everybody except for Terrence Mann and James Harden. James Harden hasn't played a game with the Clippers, and even if the Clippers played James Harden today, you can make an argument the Lakers might have won this in a lot more dominant fashion, because it's probably going to take a little while for James Harden and the Clippers to figure it out. This is a game in which Kawhi Leonard and Paul George played just ridiculous, and Russell Westbrook. Talking about Russell Westbrook had nearly a triple-double with 24 points, 11 rebounds, and 8 assists. And he also had 4 steals, shot 9 of 21 from the field, 3 of 6 from 3, shot 50% from 3. Kawhi Leonard had 38 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, was 15 of 28 from the field, 5 of 11 from 3. Again, another great efficient game from him. Paul George, 35.6 rebounds, 1 assist, 6 of 9 from 3, 11 of 16 from the field. Right? Between those three, they had 8 steals. Those are the games the Clippers almost always win. Almost always. And then you look at the Lakers side. Anthony Davis, 27, 10, and 3. LeBron James, 35, 12, and 7. D'Angelo Russell, 27, 2, and 6. So our 3 versus their 3 was pretty even, right? But their 3, especially Paul George, scored more. But then Austin Reeves took over. Christian Wood, right? Like, this was a fantastic team win, in my opinion. Darvin Ham, I love the rotation. I love the lineups, right? He even did something that I've talked about heavily here, which is playing Christian Wood at the 3 and going with Hayes, AD, and Wood. I've talked about that a lot this offseason. I don't think you can do that every game. I don't think you can do that in like super heavy doses. Like, a lot of people were like, why did Darvin Ham go away from that? Because it's not something that I think you can do regularly. Kawhi Leonard is kind of that guy that makes a lot of sense to do that against, because he's not this super quick, blow by you, explosive type player, right? He's more James Harden than he is Russell Westbrook as far as the way he plays the game. So a guy like Christian Wood, Jackson Hayes can stay in front of him and use his length, use their length more than, you know, if it was somebody like a, you know, Russell Westbrook where they're just going to get blown by. But I do think you can run that in spots, right? I do think that that is something that you can kind of experiment with here and there in small doses. I think if you would have done that too long against the Clippers, they would have figured it out, right? Kawhi Leonard would have figured out ways to be effective and score the basketball on Christian Wood and Jackson Hayes. But to kind of throw that monkey wrench out there and just kind of throw them for a loop and kind of go with a little bit of an unorthodox lineup, I think is something that can really, you know, change a game or like a quarter or something like that. Like, those are the kind of things that, again, they're just unexpected. You don't prepare for them. You don't plan for them. And it's like, oh no, like what's going on here? I wasn't expecting that. And that's something I think that can have a big impact. I love the defense from Cam Reddish. I mean, he was absolutely incredible defensively. The dude is just getting after it on the defensive side. I really want to see him pick it up offensively. You know, I mean, he's never been this like super elite shooter, but I'd like, you know, a little more efficiency, but I'm not going to knock him too much. I mean, he was huge for us. His defense on Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, I mean, it just, there's very few guys that can do what Cam Reddish did in this league. And he's been like that all season, right? Guys like Kawhi Leonard and stuff like that, they're going to get their shots. Paul George, they're going to make their buckets. It's about making them work, making things difficult, putting pressure on them, making them take tough shots. Cam Reddish did the same thing against Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's just Kevin Durant, so he was still hitting some of those shots. Same thing with Kawhi, same thing with Paul George, but it's about just kind of just impacting the game with your size and length and defense. Using your speed and athleticism, fighting over the screens, putting in the effort. You saw the hustle and the effort from guys like Cam Reddish, Jackson Hayes, Christian Wood. They were huge. A lot of people were screaming for Max Christie to get some play time. He finally did. He got 22 minutes, and he did exactly what I thought he would. 20 years old, ineffective on the offense side. He had some nice moments defensively, but he's a guy that, again, he's not going to be consistent this year, right? He's going to have games like last night where, you know, he's 1 of 7 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3, and then he's going to have games where he's probably 6 of 7 from the field and 4 or 5 from 3, right? Because, again, he's 20 years old. It's going to take some time to kind of get his feet under him and kind of really allow the game to come to him to the level of which he can make a real consistent impact. Like Cam Reddish, just the thing that makes him so playable is he's 6'8" with a 7'1" wingspan and a hyper athletic just player. That's the difference. That's what makes him more playable than Max Christie right now. But D'Lo, Reeves were huge in this game. I want to see Reeves. I'm hoping that this is, because I said this in the Orlando game about D'Lo, that I'd like to see D'Lo be consistent and continue this. And he did that. Gave you 27, came off a 28-point game, gave you a 27-point game. I'm not expecting him to necessarily average, 27 points per game. But can he be, around 20, 17 to 20? That would be great. And then Austin Reeves, same thing. He was terrible. I mean, unplayable again in the first half. Really turned it around, picked it up in the second half in overtime. Can he do that over the course of a game? Which I fully trust and believe he will. Right? Like, I fully believe Austin Reeves is going to come around. I think it'll take a little time. I think it'll be, he's got to get his legs in a room. Right? He went from the conference finals to FIBA to immediately jumping into training camp to preseason to now the NBA season. He's got to get his legs in her. He's got to kind of navigate that. He'll get it. He'll be fine. He'll get back to being him. It's just a matter of time. But I loved what I saw from the Lakers this game. This was fantastic. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? Do you think that, this was a great Lakers win? Are you a little concerned still? How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments.